Henshaw here again with some recent news on a thing called artificial intelligence and how it's being used in the quote unquote court system. And you might think my initial take on that would be, well, artificial intelligence has to be better than what we have wearing black robes now. And there may be an argument about that. But that said, there's a lot of things that go on there, and I won't suggest that the system couldn't be developed to be more or less consistent with the Constitution. But that's so far from being the case now. You have no idea what the algorithms are, how they make decisions. And by the way, a lot of the engineers even admit that they don't know, understand the decision making process. And there's just so much to go wrong there that I simply don't think at this moment in time it's capable of being used. And that's probably true even for one of those 14th Amendment citizens, for crying out loud. They have an argument there. But, the whole thing, and especially with regard to risk assessment and amount of bail and things like that, it should be totally skewed, for people like, constitutional kooks like me and my friend that's doing the video and other people that are following my program, and we're doing things that look exactly opposed to the current system, which is true. But not only does that have little to do with quote unquote risk management, it's 180 degrees opposite. We want the Constitution restored, and every act that we take is along that line to get it done. So if, for example, we choose not to show up for a court hearing in a court that doesn't have jurisdiction, that's 180 degrees the other way. That's in our favor. That doesn't go against us. It has nothing to do with whether we're going to show up for a hearing or not. So this whole thing leaves a lot to be desired as it currently is. And I have some questions about it myself. I mean, risk assessment, for example. How would this have worked in the case of Lynette Squeaky Fromm, who just got released from prison about 25 years after taking some shots at Ronald Reagan? I mean, what was the assessment? I mean, geez Louise, it just makes me wonder about that. And another good point that my friends made here is the Constitution programmed into this AI so that it can understand, its results vis-a-vis what the Constitution would in all probability require. And I'm sure that's not the case right now. That would be a difficult programming project. It doesn't mean impossible. And someone who has the skills and the background there, and maybe 20 years ago I'd be giving it a strong shot at it myself. But if you have that ability to be able to program effectively and understand the Constitution, that could be a real moneymaker. There's just so much that's not there that you don't know. And like in my own case, for example, the government thinks, and it thinks this of you too, at least to the extent of being a undocumented enemy alien. And in my case, I'm convinced I was in South Carolina for that 7 months because they were trying to build a case against me, the feds were, for being a domestic terrorist. So how, for example, using the criteria that they would use in AI, would I compare in risk management or sentencing guidelines, how would they compare me, for example, to Theodore Ted Bundy? Your guess is as good as mine. And you have to wonder here, by the way, with AI, whether that didn't heavily figure into the sentencing arrangements made for good old Felicity Huffman, and how much she paid the bastards behind the scenes to plug in that AI so she could get that result. I mean, damn, there's just so much here that you don't know and you can't possibly know. And that's the problem. If it's not constitutionally clear, then it would be at least void for vagueness. And I simply don't see how it could be used even for 14th Amendment citizens. I just simply don't see it. But there's a lot more. I'm going to be doing a position paper on this. And those of you that send me requests for information to my website at uwinnincourt@gmail.com, you'll get a copy of that paper complimentary when it's ready. It's not ready right now. And it may take me a week or 10 days, I've got a load to do here. Not a complaint, because I volunteered in. So this is no complaint, but a lot's going on right now. And if any of you, by the way, happen to have a URL I can get a hold of for 48hourdays.com, I'd love to see it. Because that's what I need. It's really that bad. But this AI business, and even worse, by the way, if you do put the constitutional provisions in there and AI figures it out, what would the net effect be, for example, on the Wall Street banksters there at 120 Broadway, New York, New York? They'd be one of the highest risk factor managements on. I mean, my goodness. See you later. 25 years. So, there's just a lot that needs to be looked into this. I'll be reading some more articles. I'll get back to you with an update on it, but it's a much more interesting subject for me than I at first glance. And I think it will be for you when you understand what they're trying to do and what the net results are. And I'll have a lot more to say about that the next time. Meantime, like my videos, tell your friends, subscribe, and send me an email at youwinincourt@gmail.com. Thank you.